everyone, welcome back to another video on my channel. Today I'm going to be going over my gear list that I'm going to be carrying with me at the start of the AT. This is for two purposes primarily. The first purpose is to let people know what I'm planning on carrying with me at the start of the AT and what I'm probably going to be dropping very shortly after beginning. And the second purpose is for comparison at the end of the trail, so I can go back, go through my pack then, say, you know, this is what I have in my pack now, this is what worked out, this is what didn't work out. Here's my recommendations on all of that. And how, if you plan on hiking for the AT, you can pack better than I did at the start of my through hike. So without further ado, let's get into it. So first up on my list today, we're going to be going over is the pack. I've got a Gregory Baltoro 65 liter pack. It is the large size. I'm a pretty big dude, so I wanted a pack that fit me well as opposed to something that might not be as comfortable but lighter. So it is a heavier pack. It's about 5.1 pounds, but it more than makes up for that with its frame and its padding. If you look at the back here, it is super well padded, super comfortable. I mentioned in my previous video, hiking up Bear Mountain, that I had no back problems at all while wearing it. And I'm excited to see how it performs over a long distance trek like this. I expect it to perform pretty well. Next up, we're going to be going over the various parts of the sleep system. This is my tent. I prefer tents to hammocks personally. I've never been able to get a comfortable sleep in a hammock, and I didn't want to try and learn while trying to hike the AT. So we're going with a tent. This is the LL Bean Micro Light UL1. It's a very comfortable tent. I've used it before. Last camping trip I used it on, I was sleeping on an island with a lot of wind, and the rain cover managed to keep most of that out. So I'm going to use it on this, and same thing with everything else. We're going to hope it holds up. I think it'll stand the test. Next part of our sleep system, we have the Thermarest Neo Air sleeping pad. When looking for a sleeping pad for this hike, I knew I was going to go with Thermarest. I've used Thermarest for most of my life. I've never had a problem with them. So we decided on the Neo Air. It was highly recommended across every research site I could find, and it had a great R rating. I believe it's around 4.3-ish. I figured I couldn't get much better than that. And more importantly, which I really like, came with this rather large air inflator that doubles as a waterproof stuff stack, so I can better organize things within my pack. And for the final part of the sleeping system, we have the North Face Cat's Meow. This is a pack I've used for, or a bag I've used for about 5 years now. I've never had a problem with it. It's always kept me very toasty. It's rated at about 20 degrees Fahrenheit, which is not quite low enough for some parts of the AT. So that brings me to the next part of my sleeping system. And that next part of my sleeping system that I was talking about is contained in this little bag right here. This is the Sea to Summit Thermalite Reactor. It is a sleeping bag insulator. And what it's supposed to do is drop my sleeping bag temperature those extra few degrees to keep me comfortable during the colder months on the trail. As it warms up, I can take it out of my bag and just use my bag, and by the time it's nice warm summer weather, I can just keep it and send my bag home and use this as a warm weather sleeping bag. So that's the plan, and we're going to see how that goes. I think I have a rather unique sleeping system. I haven't seen anyone else in their videos using something similar to this or any blogs anywhere. So we're going to see how this system works out for me. I think it's going to go well. And next up are my Sea to Summit dry bags that I will be using as storage bags. Now, why am I using dry bags as storage bags? It's because one of the main features of my pack is that it has the ability to open up the front and access the middle of the pack without having to take everything out through the top. Now, it would kind of defeat the purpose of my pack to use a pack liner there. So what I'm going to be using is an inbuilt rain cover that comes with the pack, and putting anything I can't afford to get wet into these dry bags. Therefore, if any water does get through the rain cover, my dry bags will keep everything I need to stay dry nice and safe. Next up, we have my water filtration system. Now, I'm doing something a little bit unusual for a thru hiker. I'm using a Katahdin pump filter. Now, the preferred filter on the trail from what I've seen is the Sawyer Squeeze. And I looked at it, but I figured I wanted something that I didn't have to get a new water bottle for. I like using stuff that I already own. I like the Nalgene's that I already own. So instead of using the Source Squeeze and a Smart Bottle water, which is the preferred setup these days, I'm going to be using this Katanen pump, fill up my Nalgene's at a water station, and just keep going with them. And I prefer that a lot. It's got a ceramic filter in there, very nice, and it should keep me nice and safe from waterborne diseases. In terms of my cooking setup, I'm going to be using an Optimus Vega stove, which is very nice. It's nice and lightweight. I mean, I can barely feel it picking it up. And that'll get my water boiling anytime I need to cook something. And for that, we're going to be using this GSI Outdoors titanium pot. Also very light, and it can hold my fuel inside of it, so I don't need to have my fuel can rolling around in my pack. I can just keep it in there. And both of those will be nice and lightweight for the hike overall. I'm saving a lot of pounds with these. And of course, you always need a mug. What we have right here is the newest addition to my setup. These are my new trekking poles. They are Black Diamond Z distances. They are perfect height for me. They're 51 inches. And they will serve me well. I wasn't a big believer in trekking poles until I took some poles out with me that weren't necessarily trekking poles, but they worked out anyways, onto my recent hike up Bear Mountain. And they are honestly game changers. Just to see how much they change things, I stepped on a scale without them. I put the poles on and put my weight on them just to see how much weight they take off, and they take 20 pounds off of my normal weight. So that is huge when you're hiking. In terms of headlamps, this is what I'm using. It is a Petzl Swift RL. It has reactive lighting for night and it is rechargeable. And this is in case I ever need to go night hiking while I'm on the trail. Fits my head very well. And it has a lot of range of light that I can use, and it can last me a long time without having to recharge. Where I think I'm differing from a lot of hikers is that I'm going to be trying to use a solar panel for at least the first few days of my hike. This is the item I most expect to be not finishing the trail with me for a variety of reasons, but I wanted to try it out anyways. I'm a big fan of sustainability in general, and I wanted to see if there was any way I could make my hike a little bit more sustainable. So we're going to be taking this out and seeing how it works, and if I don't really get a lot of use out of it, the AT is described as a bit of a green tunnel, then I'm just going to send it home and we'll use it for something else. And lastly, we have the killer of any lightweight hiker's ambitions, extra clothes. What I have here is my camp gear, what I will be wearing when I'm in camp on the trail. It includes long underwear for sleeping during the early months, and anything else I might need to change out of that has just been ruined by a day of hiking. These will make up the most weight in my pack, but overall, they're going to be a lifesaver for cold weather sleeping. So I'm excited to bring them. I'm going to be putting them into a dry bag in my pack, so that'll save me some room. Included in the clothes that will be going into my pack is my rain gear, rain pants and a rain jacket. That will hopefully keep me nice and dry and at least warm during rain conditions. Plus the jacket acts as a windbreaker, which will be nice the whole way through. And of course we have the clothes that I'm going to be wearing. You may have noticed that I have been wearing them throughout this video. That's because this video is a simulation of my pack, or showing you what will be in it. And obviously the clothes I'm wearing on the trail will not be in my pack while I'm hiking. And so that about wraps this up. I'll be including the base weight somewhere right here in words. If you want to see a more in-depth look into some of this gear, stuff I might not have included in this video, this includes some various electronics. I won't be including details on them, but I'll be putting their weight in on a Trek article that I'm going to be putting up about my gear list. Check that out. Also check out my other Trek article. I'll be putting the link to that in the description of this video. And I'll see you in my next video. I'm going to be doing a big hike sometime in the next 2 weeks, last training hike before the AT. Very excited for it, and I'm going to be putting it up on here. And then after that, we're on the trail.